Hello and welcome to part 2 of the GIS series, and we are going to be looking at the voter behavior and lifestyle according to their purchasing power. So in simple terms, I can describe purchasing power as the number and quality or the value of the goods and services that can be purchased within a unit of currency. Yeah, for example, you might find that if there is an an increase in price, let's say for example there is an inflation, then this means that people are able to buy fewer goods, or they are able to spend less, or they're able to only acquire certain goods. And this means that there is a decrease in purchasing power. And for example, if the ability of buying goods at a lower price increases, and also buying more goods or commodities or sparing more money increases, then this means that there is an increase in the purchasing power. For example, if we can look at the purchasing power of a country, we look at Kenya for example. If the price of bread in 2009 was 100 shillings, and then in 2018 it's 200 shillings, and this is just an example, let nobody come after me. Then the price rose to 200 shillings. This means that there is a 100% percentage rise in the price of bread. And it also explains that now people are not able to afford, or the increase in the price of bread has led to some people removing bread from their diet, or not buying bread and looking for other alternatives. So in short, this means that the purchasing power has decreased. And this purchasing power is measured using consumer price index. And the reason as to why I'm explaining all of these terms is because you will be seeing them in the data that we'll upload onto GIS online. So it's measured in terms of consumer price index, and by measuring how the prices of consumer goods and services change over time, we are able to determine the purchasing power. Okay, let's compare an example of you and your grandfather. If you earn the same amount of money that your grandfather used to earn when he was working 50 years ago, this means that you will need more money to sustain yourself in this time as compared to him in his time. So this shows that the purchasing power has been decreasing over time. So we'll be looking at the purchasing power in Kenya, and Kenya is a country in Africa, and it's divided into 47 counties. So this purchasing power will be divided in terms of counties and also normalized by the consumer price index. This is not a business class, it's just a simple explanation, of what is going to happen. So with that in place, we can determine that areas that have a higher purchasing power are likely to afford goods more than areas with a low purchasing power. And also this means that they are able to spare some money, and this is a good indication of the behavior of those people living in those areas. It shows that these people their livelihood is at a better and higher level than those that have the lower purchasing power. So this will help us to determine if you are a potential candidate, and you are looking for voters, which area will you go to? You will most likely go to the areas with low purchasing power, and you'll be able to determine the reasons as to why there is low purchasing power, and you will be able to solve these problems. This will make you a hero in your campaign. So let's get started right away. We'll first add the layer from Living Atlas layers. So we'll search for the layer Kenya purchasing power and select enter. So we'll just add it. So easy. We'll go back to the content, and this is the layer Kenya purchasing power. We can turn off the Kenyan counties layer, or we can decide to put the purchasing power layer to be at a certain visibility. This means it should be at a certain zoom level. So we can just change its visibility so that they don't collide with the Kenyan counties layer. So set visibility to when we zoom in up to a certain stage. So like for now we cannot see it, so let's try zooming in. Not yet. Okay, let's just reduce it a little bit. Yes, something like that. And then we'll also alter the zoom, the visibility for the Kenyan counties also. So we'll alter the visibility so that it reaches at a certain place, almost immediately where the purchasing power appears. Yes, exactly. So let's just reduce it a little bit. Like that. So one more thing we'd like to do is just save our map, so that in case anything happens, we already have some version of whatever we have done so far. It will be such a sad thing if you lost all the work you are doing. So just save it. We'll save it as voter plan campaign. Then just add some tags such as voters, Kenya campaign win. Then you can add a description, it's optional, and save the map. The next thing we are going to do is just style this. We're going to style the purchasing power layer so that it appears to have some, although it looks okay, let's just check something. We'll return the zoom level to the way it was, the visibility range, like that. Then turn off the Kenyan counties. So we'll just style it. So expand it. Then we're going to style the county. So we're going to style it according to the purchasing power per capita. So that's okay. We'll use the counts and amounts. Then we'll classify our data. So as you can see from the legend at the left corner here, the highest purchasing power is darker than the lowest purchasing power, and the color gradient decreases as you reduce the purchasing power. So that means, for example, a place like Nairobi County has a very high purchasing power as compared to a place like Wajir County. So the nationality purchasing power is 104,494, and Wajir seems to be way below the purchasing power by half, while Nairobi seems to be way above the purchasing power. So I think it's okay like this. So just select OK and done. One more thing, if we click on an area, let's enable the Kenyan counties and disable the purchasing power. If we click on a county, there are some attributes that I don't want to appear, so I will just edit them. To edit this pop-up, just click on these three dots and select configure pop-up. So we are going to eliminate county ID and area and remain with county only. So just go to configure attributes and then deselect this, all of these options: perimeter, county, county ID. Then quickly save and press OK. Then if we look at the purchasing power, we also have pop-ups for it, so we are going to configure them because we have a lot of data that we need to add to the pop-ups. So just expand it and then county, configure pop-up. So you're going to select configure attributes, and what we need to do is we need to add a graph to show the purchasing power. So just go to add pop-up media and we'll add a bar chart, and in our bar chart it will contain the purchasing power. Let's just look for it. We'll select the population in terms of age, and as you know, voters are mainly 18 years and above in Kenya. So let's just select from 15 to 29, 30. So we'll be selecting the age, the population age, that is the total. Yeah, then click OK. Then we'll also just edit this. We'll normalize by the purchasing power per capita and click OK. Then OK. So let's see our work. Can click on one and swipe, and there we have it. If you hover over the graphs or the chart, you're given some additional information. So that's it, guys, for this tutorial. In our next tutorial, we'll be looking at the potential donors, or those who are able to donate, as well as the disabled. Then we'll analyze this data in order to make some meaningful information that can help us to win an election. Thank you. See you in part 3. Bye.